Good morning, Mrs. Brown's class. We're sending y'all a video. We just want to say thank you so much for our butterfly pictures yesterday. You saw our reaction. We obviously loved them. We did not know we were going to receive a gift like this, and so it was very special. Thank you, and we loved them. And then when we turned them over and saw the pictures, it was just this is the best teacher present ever. And thank you so much also for our card with our money. That's also a good teacher present. So we just thank you so much for everything. But we do have a little, we do this every year. We make a little video for you all as a thank you. And that way if your kids need a bedtime story or a brain break this summer, y'all can listen to us read a story. And this book is called A Home for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle, one of our favorite authors. And we always like to read it at this time of year because we have loved having your children in our class. But it's time for them to have a new home and move on to first grade. So here we go, before I cry again. Happy tears, happy tears. A Home for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of his shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon.
Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside to see how it felt. It felt just right, but it looked so, well, plain, thought the Hermit Crab.
In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It's so plain, it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell.
In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish, moving slowly along the sea floor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house.
In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell.
In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving it in a neat path behind them. How tidy and hard-working you are, said the Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and help clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell.
In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. How fierce you look, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. Gracefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell.
In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. It's so dark here, thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy it is, whispered the starfish. How murky it is, complained the coral. I can't see, said the snail. It's like nighttime, cried the sea urchin.
In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. How bright you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to light up our house? I would, replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell.
In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. How sturdy you are, said Hermit Crab. Would you mind if I rearranged you? Not at all, answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around the shell. Now my home is perfect, cheered the Hermit Crab.
But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a little bit too small. Little by little, over the year, the hermit crab had grown. Soon, he would have to find another, bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, as the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. They have been so good to me, thought the hermit crab. They are like a family. How can I ever leave them?
In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. I have outgrown my shell, she said. Would you know of a place for me? I have outgrown my house, answered the hermit crab. I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends. I promise, said the little crab.
The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. Couldn't stay in that little shell forever, said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought. Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. All right, and we're excited for y'all to start first grade. So, and we'll be around next year, so come find
Visit.
us.
Please come
We love
visit.
y'all. Happy summer.
Have a great summer.